Hey folks, welcome back or welcome to Midnight Raceway Park. I'm Steve and I hope you enjoy this week's tournament, but first we have to get through qualifying. Unfortunately, not everyone had a smooth day qualifying. So for qualifying, I had each car run a lap on both lanes. They had 3 attempts per lane, and the clips of the failed attempts have been removed from this video just for time purposes. The results from qualifying will be used to set the tournament bracket. If you want to skip the qualifying laps and get to the results, just jump ahead to the time on the screen. So first up, we have Deuce Roadster. I thought this car was pretty slick on its laps. It was very controlled. It was very smooth. It's the only one that I remember because it was the first one that I ran. And he did it in one shot each lane, which was good. And his times were pretty good too. So we'll get to the times in a minute here. So an average of 6.215. Excuse me. And I will say that's, between 6 and 6.2 or so is a good average for this track. So this car here, the Dirt Digger, is actually an old Kenner car, the Fast 111s. And I got a bunch of them. I took a chance. So that was a better couple of laps, 6.105. And here's the Dunosaur. But yeah, I bought some of those Fast 111s, and if they come in decent shape, because they are old, and the majority of the ones that I purchased were just so really beat up. But if you're lucky enough to get a couple that are in pretty good shape and you can take care of the axles on them, they're putting down some pretty good times. I have about maybe 5 that are in racing condition. So here we have the Enforcer, which did give me some trouble during qualifying. It did manage to get all of its laps in, but you can see there the second straightaway is getting sideways already. It wasn't a great car. I don't know how it'll do on the mountainside track. Oh, you can see he did a complete flip around. So now he's driving backwards, so I don't know if he's showing off or 6.22 on that last lap. The Ford Bronco by far was the worst. I do worry about how well the Ford Bronco will do on the mountainside track. I apologize. I don't have in front of me who's the driver for that vehicle, but yeah, he struggled quite a bit on the. He's going backwards too, on the qualifying laps. So we can only tell. This one also, the two Fords, the Ford Bronco and the Ford F-150 were the two that could not put down times on both laps. They just had too many DNFs on the qualifying where they couldn't finish. But this lap here looks good. So I'm not sure why I will say that lane 1 on this track is much more difficult than lane 2. Because of the angle. So you start off on the, here's Hoverstorm. You start off on the first lane, which is the lane 1, which is on the left when you're looking at it from behind right here. And lane 2 is on the right. Lane 2, because it's already on the outside and the first curve is curving to the left, it's already basically hugging the wall. Jeep Gladiator. This is a sharp-looking vehicle, but he had a few issues as well. But getting back to the entry into turn 1, because it's already hugging the wall, it's not having a direct impact with the wall, whereas the cars in lane 1, they enter at the low end of another car going backwards here. They enter at the low end of the turn, the curve. And as a result, because they have momentum going forward, they don't have anything to hug because there's nothing on the outside when they're going on the turn. They have, 2 or 3 lanes that they can move up. So what happens is they go almost, just straight into the outside barrier of the track, and they can't complete, they'll flip or they'll roll off the track. So that's something that I'll probably have to look into. I spent a lot of time, because I had changed some of the curves on my tracks recently, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what to do with that, and I could not come up with a solution. I'm just gonna have to work on how the entry is laid out, and see if I can make any adjustments. I missed the screen, but are we on Mad Splash? I believe that was 582 on the first lap. It's interesting though, because the times on lane 2 are slower than on lane 1. So even though lane 1 is giving them problems into that first turn, their times are better than those on lane 2. And I think part of the reason might be just the fact that they're actually literally, rubbing up against the wall in turn 1, and that drag could be slowing them down coming out of that turn. There were a few vehicles that had wrecked at the end of that first fat track straightaway. They couldn't make the turn, so they just kind of like slowed down and fell off the track. And I wonder if that has anything to do with the drag. I didn't pay attention to what lanes those cars were starting from. I'd have to go back and look at some of the clips, but I do wonder if that was consistently with lane 2, simply because they were getting slowed down in that first turn. Now we got a new first place position, the Mountain Mauler. All right. I like this vehicle a lot. And he actually was really good, even though it's a truck, and the Bronco and the F-150 were not very competitive, nor was the Jeep, for that matter. But this truck and the Quick Blaster didn't give me many problems with their qualifying laps. Wow, look at that, 5.695. That's over 0.3 of a second faster than Mountain Mauler. Or it's a Quick Sander. I said Quick Blaster, it's Quick Sander. Yeah, this is the other vehicle that was pretty smooth on the qualifying. These are good laps. That was a 581, okay. Yeah, they just seem a little slower by the time they get to that second turn. I don't know, 635. So we have 2 more positions to go. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you enjoy this stuff, please leave a like. If you want to know when new stuff comes out, particularly the tournament for this qualifying, you can turn on notifications and share this with others who might enjoy it. And of course, leave a comment. I really appreciate what people have to say about these tournaments and how I filmed them, the tracks, how well the tracks perform. So this is our last candidate, Willie's MB. I believe this is a match. I don't know. I'm not going to say that it is. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But that was a slow first lane time, 6:27. And a lot of the other cars were sub 6. And for his last lap, 6:13. So I actually did better on lap 2. Interesting. So there's the results. And here's the tournament bracket that we'll start with for the tournament, coming out in a couple of days. So keep an eye out for that. And thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. Take care.